kinds of noises. Good news, this time I finally remembered to turn off the Telegram. How are you guys doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Hi, Susie. Nice to see you. Yeah, I'm still selling. But let me tell you, I want to tell you what's happening. I actually posted. Wait, now this is distracting me. Get away. Can't have that open there. Oh, so confusing. 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. One day I will get the hang of it. Because you know what? Like I opened it on my laptop and on here because sometimes it's easier. Actually, it's easier to keep track of the chat on the laptop. But then that means that I have to see myself, which is just so weird. I'm just going to put a book in front of myself so I don't have to look at my face. It's so awkward. Hi, KJ. Yeah, it's so awkward even when I'm recording now because I see myself in the camera. I didn't used to, so it makes me feel weird. Yeah, I want to tell you guys about what's going on. I want to try to break it down. Hi, Lincoln. How's it going? So, I mean, you know when we heard the original, you will buy nothing and you will be happy. You will own nothing. Sorry, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Everything you have, you will rent. And we heard a lot about these kind of things, this sort of idea of like a return to a feudalistic society. Heidi, yes, and eat the bugs. You will eat the bugs and you will be happy. He's not going to be eating the bugs, but they expect us to. I don't want to go on a big tangent about the bugs, but I noticed that there's more and more foods out there that are including insect protein, which I find weird. I mean, that is certainly not kosher. Let's just start with that. That's a big no-no. I'm pretty sure it's also haram. So it's like already there's a lot of people that are not going to want to eat it. What are they going to do? Make them all eat bugs? Anyway, for now it's optional. But you have to be careful. You have to check the packaging because sometimes when you check very carefully, then you'll see it says contains cricket protein. Oh, so eco-friendly. But the insects, apparently they contain this substance. Now I don't remember the name. It's a type of protein or something, but you need a certain enzyme to break it down. So it's fine if you're a bird, but if you're a person, it's not good for you. And also sometimes like bugs can have parasites also. Remember that guy who ate a slug and he died? I'm sure it's not going to be like that in the food supply, but still, you could be consuming who knows what. Anyway, I'm not up for it. It's not kosher. I'm not that Jewish, but still Jewish enough. I'm not going to eat the bugs. Oh, hey, Rockstar. Hey, Hardcore. Hi, Reg. Hi, Skywalktress. Al Faders. An unelected, self-appointed, non-government entity has this much power. How? I know, it's so crazy. It's really crazy. Like, how do they even... It just goes to show that there's just people that have so much money, they can just... I guess they just buy everybody off. I guess when you have that much money, you're above the law. It kind of reminds me of something. Oh, I'm on another tangent already, but I am going to talk to you about the marketplace thing. Here's another tangent. Hi, Ruth. Good to see you. I used to study a lot about like sociology and criminology, or the sort of social stuff surrounding criminality or criminalization, also the creation of criminals or criminalizing people. And I remember reading that it was pretty clear that like a lot of it had to do with your income, how things would get handled, how it would turn out. Basically, first of all, the police patrol the poor neighborhoods more. So of course, when there's more police, they spot more crime. But let's say some teenagers get spotted and they're poor teenagers and they get caught doing some graffiti or tagging. If they're poor, they're more likely to end up in a court system and have some kind of record. Or if they're stealing or whatever they're doing. If they're well off, it's most likely the police will bring them home and let the parents deal with it. And there was an experience in my family. Someone in my family had their wallet stolen by their best friend, and that person took their bank card and I guess got their PIN and took money out and went shopping. And it was discovered who did it, because I guess security cameras. And this was the son of a very wealthy doctor from Outremont. And there were never any criminal charges. They just brought him home. Sorry, I got rabbit hair. So I know that there's a double standard, and I guess that standard extends even more, that there are people that when they have money and they have power, they get away with a lot of stuff. Hi, Olivier. Well, listen, Olivier, if you want to get warned, you got to join my Patreon. You know, I warn everybody on Patreon. YouTube doesn't warn people. Sonia's coming up. I'm glad that you noticed. Yeah. So I think that there, like, literally there is no justice. Some people are just so far above the law. But not us, unfortunately. So what's going on now? This is new, okay? I mean, some of this has been going on since forever, but some of it's new. So you guys know that I sell on Marketplace. I started selling on Kijiji a little bit too, but I find that Kijiji is dodgy. It's just like selling on Craigslist because, well, it's a little better than Craigslist. Oh, hi, Dancer. Hi, Big Jake. It's a little better than Craigslist because Craigslist, you really don't know anything about the person. Kijiji, they have a profile and there's some ratings. Hi, Joey Boomer. Hi, Dennis Crombie. So there's some ratings, so you can see, like, if people had bad experience, they're going to give them ratings. But then again, how hard is it to get your friend to put up some fake ratings for you? I mean, that's what people do. So you can't trust it 100%. On Facebook, as much as we hate Facebook, but realistically for local selling, it's a great platform. The interface is very well made. It's very user friendly. Like, everything about the interface is really good, in my opinion. And it's pretty neat the way you can organize your listings. You don't have like an actual store, like as in you cannot categorize your items by type, for example, but you get a seller profile and all your items are there. And I think maybe, can people search in your profile? Maybe not. It works really well. You know, the only condition is you have to be on Facebook to use it, but it's great because you see who's there. It tells you what groups they're in. Are they in the same groups as you? It shows you what kind of stuff they sell. You can go check their seller profile, or you can actually just go check their profile. So if I go on there and somebody asks me about something and I look at their profile and they don't have a profile picture, they don't have a name, they don't have friends, there's like nothing for me to see. I mean, I understand people want their privacy, but like, you have to give a little bit basic something so that we know you're real person and it's not complete fake. Because let's say somebody had ill intent. I mean, if they give you no information or completely fake info, and then they show up at your house and something goes wrong, well, no one's ever going to know who it was. I think that when people attach their name to something, there's much more accountability. They could use a fake name, and that's true. But my experience has been most people are really nice. I've actually been to people's places because I buy stuff too. And the people who've come and the people that I've gone to see, they're pretty nice people. But I feel safer that I can... I get a little bit of a feel of the person because I'm able to see a little bit about them. You know what I mean? So I really like Marketplace, but it's very dodgy. Not in terms of the users or the interface, but there's some serious problems there. And you guys know, it's like it started with YouTube 10 years ago when they started just demonetizing things. And then there was the next phase with the fake news. And now on Facebook, there was a woman who was complaining that her chickens weren't laying. And she said they hadn't been laying in months. And she realized it was a feed and she switched the feed. And now they're doing better. And for some reason, I found it interesting and I shared it on my profile. It had nothing to do with the coof or the hoovid or the voot. Nothing, okay? It was just about chickens. And they attached a misleading content warning to it because somebody else made a video about the chickens and the feed, and they connected it with something else, which is a sacred cow, which no one's allowed to say anything about. Actually, not even. No, wait, excuse me. They didn't even do that. They said there was something in the feed that sounds like something that's in something else. Okay, so based on that, someone else who's talking about chicken feed without any reference to the thing that sounds like another thing, that's misleading information. I mean, I've said before, it's like a bad boyfriend, man. It's like a bad relationship. It's a lot of gaslighting. It's just straight up abusive. And then they warn you, you're going to be, you're going to the meat grinder if you keep this up. And you're like, what did I do? Because there was literally nothing in the post that mentioned anything. It was literally just her saying the chicken feed and her chickens hadn't been laying in months and she changed the feed. That's all it was. But because some other person made a similar video and said something that someone else could interpret to mean not what they said, but another thing, then that other lady who talks about chicken feed, well, she's screwed. And then if I share it, I go to the meat grinder. I mean, really? This is real. This is like, it's just to mess with your head. Holy crap. So that's just on the news feed. So far though, Marketplace was okay, but there's something new that's going on. Okay, so they switched it to Meta, right? Remember when Facebook changed to Meta? And when they did that, yes, it was AI and bots and stuff before, but they did have like some people there that were checking things too. And if you apply for an appeal, there was a way to get things sorted out. I think that in the past, in the beginning, if you had, say, pictures or posts that people didn't like, hi, Bella. Oh, happy Valentine's Day. I forgot. I'm so bad with holidays. I never do them, right? I grew up without them, so I forget that's what people do. But I did kind of remember, and I bought Aaron a nice little wood salt shaker and an ashtray, so it's better than usual. But yeah, happy Valentine's Day, you guys. Oh, I thought that's going to happen. I'm going to lose my train of thought. So yeah, with the AI and with Meta, so way back in the day, you get in trouble if some human Facebook user flagged your post. That's what happened. Somebody complained, and that's how you got in trouble. And you could appeal it, and there's a human being there who could check it and say, actually, no, you didn't do anything. Well, now, and it was like that on YouTube too, they had these trusted flaggers. They actually had a trusted flagger program on YouTube. Maybe they still do. But now they don't really need those humans anymore. They don't need to pay people because they use AI, and AI gets it wrong a lot. And they're using AI on Meta now, which means Facebook. Okay, but it's worse than censorship, Anonymous. It's so much it's even worse, man. It's just like an abyss. It's so bad. So what happens now is, they have rules about what you can post on Marketplace. You can't have weapons, and you can't sell, I think you're not allowed to sell any like health products, and no fakes, no knockoffs. But a lot of people do that. I was gonna say everybody does it. A lot of people do it. I don't know how they get away with it. But anyway, certain things you can't put, no animals, no animal products. And I think you're not allowed to offer your services either on Marketplace. That's what I got. I think in the groups you can offer services depending what kind of group it is. Because I see people putting up like, oh, I do plumbing or I do house cleaning, and that's okay. But I'm not sure. Anyway, so they have rules like everywhere. In the past, if somebody flagged your post, then you'd appeal it. And it's happened to me before. I appealed it and everything was sorted. Oh, where is that? Oh, I put it away now. Now look, here's what happened to me, okay? Because now it's AI. AI, Google Lens, when you take a picture and you run it through Google Lens, and the AI will figure out what's in that picture. You ever notice how sometimes it gets it really wrong? See, it's not perfect. But they're using AI now instead of all these people. I guess it's a lot cheaper. But man, it's really far from perfect. And who pays the price is you and me. So I had this listing up. I actually had this listing up since 2021. It's a set of like carving knives for Christmas in the vintage box from the 1960s with Bakelite faux antler handle, knife, sharpener, and fork. It's just Bakelite. It's from Glow Hill. It's just a totally normal household object. It got flagged for me selling weapons. That happened once. I think it happened once, like before, and I just appealed it and it was fine. It happened recently. I actually deleted and relisted. Yeah, Susie, weapons. Okay, so it's, a weapon against what? A roast turkey? You're going to accuse me of selling weapons. I mean, that's so crazy. Yeah, it is ridiculous. But what it is the AI doesn't know the difference, because I had the picture of the thing in the box with the 3 utensils, and then I had a picture of them out of the box, and I guess the knife, the AI looked at that and said, "Oh, that is a weapon. Danger, danger, that is a weapon. This person is a no good Nick, is trying to sell weapons on marketplace. Must delete, must delete, must send to the meat grinder." So I got a notice that I was accused of selling weapons. I mean, seriously. Why don't you just take us out back and tie us to a stake and light the flames, Yeah, delete the bank account. That's what's coming next. You're right, Olivier. I appealed it and I won. And I was like, see, there's no problem. They're not stupid. There's a person checking it. But I thought that was the end of it, but it wasn't. Little while later, same listing is flagged again for me selling weapons. And I was like, no, really? Again? I just told you yesterday I'm not selling weapons. Why this again? I just proved it to you. This is so weird. So I was like, okay, no problem. I'm going to appeal it. I appealed it. But this time, the robot must have been smoking the chunky white crunch, because it got it wrong and it decided that, oh, you're not selling weapons, but you're selling animals. And my listing was removed for selling animals. Where's the animal? Is there a cockroach in the box somewhere? I don't know. There's no animal. I said it was Bakelite. They took my post down, and that's not a big deal if you get a post taken down. But people are getting banned and like this with no warning. I'm lucky they gave me a warning. And they said, if you continue to post material that violates our community guidelines, you will be banned from Marketplace. And then every time I would post something or update, a warning would come up telling me, you are at risk of being banned from Marketplace. And then it gives you the option, you want to go forward or go back. Like, hey, I'm warning you before you post something. For a set of carving utensils for Christmas, it accuses me of selling animals. Well, I mean, I'm still there. Well, I get it, Java Lily. That's why you left Facebook. Trust me, I would like to leave, but the problem is I look at other platforms and there's nothing that's equivalent, and it's working well for me. I'm not like relying on it. I wouldn't ever do that. I want to tell you some stories about things that have happened to people on there. I'm very lucky I got a warning, but I had to rethink it. So I was like, what is up with this? What's going on? Because before it wasn't like that. It would never come back and say that it was you're selling animals. When you wrote it was Bakelite. And yeah, so I just started looking into it, and I discovered that actually there's a lot of people are having this problem of being banned, not from Facebook, but from Marketplace, with no warning. And it's for really posting, like they said, normal household items. Somebody got banned for posting a table and chairs. Another guy got banned for selling a suitcase. It was flagged as a suspicious object. I mean, we're not at the mall. The suitcase is not unattended. It's only a picture. It's on Marketplace. Why would you be suspicious of the suitcase? Have you seen too many gangster movies where they open it up and there's money inside? I mean, what's so suspicious about a suitcase? But that freaked me out because I sold a suitcase just a little while ago. And I was like, geez, I'm glad I didn't go to the meat grinder for selling a suspicious suitcase. Yeah, it probably ruined my social credit score, Cosmic Care Bear. It's probably ruined already since a long time. Yeah, so he was booted for selling a suitcase. Suspicious object. Yeah, thanks for the tip. Java Lily, Poshmark is easy. That's cool. I was just trying to avoid having to mail things, and give people the lowest price possible because, they take a cut, so then you mark up the price. Anyway, before I get off on another tangent, another person was banned for selling kitchen utensils, a spatula, a kitchen knife, suitcase. I mean, it's almost like literally anything. And I thought, when I use Google Lens, I know sometimes there's things where the AI doesn't understand what it is, gets it wrong. And so any of those things, I took them all off. I panicked. I was delete, delete, delete. Actually, I'm not panicked, but I took some drastic action. I started deleting a bunch of listings because I was like, oh, no more suitcases. And I have this little vintage bag. It's just a little vintage vinyl carry-on bag that's very cute. And I hope that they don't think it's suspicious. But is my fan on? Really? Nope. I don't hear anything. I mean, thanks for telling me. Does everybody else hear a fan too? Oh, well, I don't hear a fan. I wouldn't know what to tell you guys. Maybe it's my phone. Okay, it's only you, Olivier. It's the voice. It's the noise in your head, my friend. Yeah. Anyway, maybe slow down on the, Okay, let's not go there. I'll get sent to the meat grinder. So anyhow, yeah, it's terrible. Bad boyfriend. Seriously, YouTube too. So yeah, like people are getting banned for absolutely random objects with absolutely no warning, and there's no way to really appeal it. You're screwed. So I was like, oh my God, it's just like a matter of time. No, Olivier, I don't. Get your mind out of the gutter. Well, it's just, I guess that's just where your mind goes when you hear vibrations. But no, there's nothing. It's on your end, man. It really is. Anyway, so yeah, it's a big problem. So it's what I found out is it's happening more and more since they switched to Meta, because it's using more AI. And then there's a form, the old form for appeal, it doesn't even work anymore. You try to go on there and like the button is gray. You can't even, I tried and you can't do anything. So what I realized was, I think that they know that AI is going to get it wrong some of the time, but they just really don't care. There's people that have their business on there. There's a guy who was selling motorcycle parts, and he's been doing it for years, and he's been using Marketplace, and he's selling locally. And the AI decided that his motorcycle parts, some of them, were something that was not okay, and sent him to the meat grinder with no recourse. So you can imagine the huge impact this has on his business. And this is an innocent guy. Like, this is not even a guy that has any idea of how severe this problem is with AI and with censorship. He's just like, Joe Blow, minding his business, fixing the motorcycles. He opens it up. He trusts that the platform's going to be honest. And he doesn't expect that he's going to get sent to the meat grinder for doing absolutely nothing. People like me, happened to me before. It's happened to me here on YouTube and on Facebook for years. Hi, Lynn. So I've been in the meat grinder before, not completely meat grinder, but I've been shadow banned on Facebook and YouTube for a long time. So I know how it is. It doesn't matter. You did or you didn't do anything. I got a video taken down years ago for demeaning sexual fetishes because I spat out a smoothie, although there are many men who have spat things out and even vomited on YouTube, and they don't get that kind of treatment. But because I'm a female, it must be sexual. And it was in the context of a rap video, and they took it down. That's really what screwed my channel in the end. It wasn't even all the truther stuff. And on Facebook, it was like, I don't know, it was years ago. It was like 2015 or 2016. Some random things that I posted that, it wasn't anything heavy. It was like some celebrity news or something. But anyway, like I've had this experience, so I know how it is. But when people have never dealt with this and seen how incredibly unfair it is, I think they don't believe how bad it really is. But you see people whose entire business is set up on Marketplace, and it's just, you got the boot because our robot got it wrong. And that's the thing. They have gotten rid of a lot of the staff. It's replaced with AI. They know that AI is going to get it wrong, and they really just don't care. They don't care. They do not give a crap what happens to you in your business. That's horrible customer service, you know. But it's at the point where people are so reliant on the platforms that I guess they just figure nothing's going to happen to them. Like if you had, let's say you had a mall and people were setting up shop in the mall and you're getting paid by, I don't know, it's whoever's advertising in the mall to have these stalls there. I mean, it's not a good example, but let's just say. And then one day you just like brick something up so that there's somebody there that you're like, oh, like our robot decided that your stall is no good and just like bricked it up completely. I guess because you're on their territory, like they feel that they have the right to do that. They can't get sued because you're not actually paying for the service to use it. So they were like, well, it's our place. We can do whatever we want. But there is a class action lawsuit against Facebook right now for the mental health effects that their content has had on young people, regarding eating disorders and self-esteem and all kinds of things. And it's a pretty big lawsuit. So they're making the case that there's something that Facebook is doing that's really harmful to young people. I would say the way that they treat the users, for example, people who use their platform to sell, they arbitrarily flag and block them with no recourse. At least have a recourse, but there isn't any really. I would say that that's also psychologically abusive, you know. They could say, well, we have a right to ban you. Well, they do. But when people live in a state of uncertainty where they put all their effort and all their work and then the bad boyfriend just decides, you know, consequences for you, that's very like psychologically abusive. That's what I think. So they obviously don't care. I mean, I think the only thing that maybe could turn that around in a place like that would be to sue for like psychological harm, because people who have lost everything or who have suffered horrible social consequences, who they develop anxiety, depression, they can't sleep, you know, that's harm to them. Because if you knew there was a recourse that you could appeal it and it could be restored if it was a mistake, you actually didn't do anything wrong. You know, it'd be like you're charged with a crime. You get to have your say about what you did, right? But with this, it's like you're guilty until proven innocent. Actually, you don't get a chance to prove yourself innocent either. It's very like, I think that's very psychologically damaging to people. Because I've seen the people that they got totally banned and they're really screwed up about it. They're like, I've lost my livelihood. I have no other way to publicize my business. You know, I don't know. Anyway, they really suffered for it. And it's weird because they set it up like a platform, like it's better than Craigslist or Kijiji, but it's not quite like Etsy or eBay because you're not paying fees to them. It's free. And you'd think, oh, well, maybe that's why they think they have the right to just boot you, because you're not paying. But it's not, because Etsy and eBay, and they all do the same thing. Stuff can happen on there too, you know? It's like there's no recourse. So I realized it's just because everything's being taken over AI, and they know that some people are going to be casualties. There are people that are going to get booted. We're in a society now where we need social media to function. People need their LinkedIn for professional stuff. They need their Facebook for professional and social stuff. They use Twitter. Like everybody uses this stuff. I don't use all of it. I only use Facebook and YouTube and Telegram basically. But most people use these things and they use them professionally. They use them for advertising. They use them to connect with their clients. They use them to network for business or just for professionally. And, you know, what's very precarious is that the plug could be pulled at just absolutely any time. So they know we need it, but then they set it up in such a way that You could become a casualty of the AI at any moment. You know, hi Sky. Like if you had actually done something wrong and you get booted for that, that's one thing. But this is, you know, that's really bad. And so they're just making it harder and harder. Another thing is the way they're charging people. So you guys know I sell locally, which I totally love doing. It's like I found something that I really love to do. I love looking for stuff, and I love selling it. Like it's fun. I'm good at taking pictures. I try to do good customer service, you know, and it's like I'm building my little thing. It's not a lot of money, but I mean, I make the same selling that I do with YouTube, for example, or with Patreon. Like it's all about the same, you know, so it's equally successful or not, whatever. I mean, it certainly helps, you know. I have to do it because YouTube doesn't help that much, and my income hasn't gone up in proportion with inflation. It's like, you know, I have to do something. So what I always do is I have like multiple small streams of income. I think I basically have like maybe 5 right now, you know. I guess 6 if you include Kijiji, but I would put that together with Marketplace. I mean, it's the only way for me to do it. You know, I think that I'm unemployable. I mean, truth be told, I don't think that I could take a job somewhere at this point for a number of reasons. Because A, I'm a caregiver to 2 people, plus my son who has special needs. Plus I have issues with pain and fatigue. And I never can say when I'm going to be somewhere. It's really difficult, you know. I mean, my son still has issues. It makes it hard for me to manage my time. So I do what I can. But I'm looking into branching out from Marketplace. I mean, I like doing it. It suits me fine. I would be perfectly happy just doing that. But it's too sketchy. You know, you can't put your, like, you can't really invest in it. Poshmark, well, okay. I mean, yeah, I've heard that, but my friend Karen tried to do it, and she said, yeah, you stick it in the mail, but you have to do a lot of, like, promoting it. You have to go on Instagram and, I don't know, some groups or something. I don't have time for that. You know? So like, here's the thing with Etsy. They have, because I wanted to use Etsy, even though I know everybody uses it. It's like the first thing people think of when they think of like handmade or vintage, but that's what it's for, and that's what I'm selling. And I really wanted to use Etsy, and I know that they charge fees, and it was like, hey, that's fine. Hi, JP. But I mean, again, it's one of those where I hear of people, you know, they'll have issues, and then, you know, you just go to the meat grinder. It's like anywhere else. Like, it's not really part-time caregiver. I'm a full-time caregiver, says John Brown. I don't know where you've been, but I guess you didn't watch my Vlogmas. Go watch Vlogmas and you'll know what I do. So here's what Etsy does, okay? So you sell something, they charge you 6%. 6.5% is fine. It's not that much. But they also charge you 6.5% of the shipping. Now that's weird, because the shipping charge is not income for you. It's something that the buyer is paying to somebody completely different. So then it's like a fine. You know? So that it's weird that they would charge you on the shipping. And also, if you reach a certain threshold of sales, they automatically enroll you in their like advertising program, and then they take apparently 20% of whatever you make. So the problem with this is, like, that's all fine. You can have those terms. The problem with this is it's driving up the costs, because people, what they sold for $25 before, then Etsy's cut goes up, plus they're charging you double because they're charging for the shipping, which makes no sense. So who's going to absorb that cost? It's the buyer in the end. So it's created this crazy situation where you've got things that, you know, the same ashtray would be $20 on Marketplace, and it's going to be like $45 on Etsy. So it's kind of overvaluing all this vintage stuff, which makes me think it's like a bubble. You know what I mean? how long are people going to be willing to pay for like this inflated prices on Etsy? I'm wondering, tell me what you think. It seems to me like it's changing the market for vintage reselling. That's for sure. It used to be that you'd go to the thrift store and you pay less. Now you go to Etsy and you pay maybe more, you know. But I'm just wondering, like, how long is this going to continue? How expensive is this stuff going to get? I mean, there at a certain point, people are just going to be like, no, we're not going to buy this. Yeah, Poshmark adds a shipping fee. That's fine. Somebody has to pay shipping. But what Etsy does is, if the shipping is $20, they charge the seller 6% of the $20. Why? You didn't make that money. Why don't they charge a shipping company? That's really weird. Yeah, and so there's another ripple effect, which is that the thrift stores like Salvation Army, which is meant to be for poor people to be able to get their stuff. Oh, PL, I don't have those packets anymore. And those were really da bomb. They were really good and I missed them. Java Lily, you did well in Poshmark. You made $800 the first year just selling old clothes. Okay. I mean, 800 for the year, I find, I mean, I guess it's good if you're just starting out, but I would hope that it goes higher than that. Let's just say. I hope it improved after that. Yeah, so those Salvation Army stores, it's where are poor people supposed to get their clothes? Because now people are going there and like buying them and selling them on Poshmark, and then Poshmark's taking a cut. It's kind of like the thing with cash, okay? Like when you pay in cash to somebody, they get all the money. When you pay with a card, there's always a fee. And then they take that money, they go somewhere else, and then they pay a fee on the card. So like the more it continues, the more like this little percentage keeps getting diverted back to the financial company that's giving you access to your bank account or your credit. You know, so what it results in, like, people will charge more to make up for that, and then the next person charges a little more to make up for it, you know, and it just keeps going. So it creates more inflation. I guess what bothers me is I want to be able to sell stuff without having to explode the cost of it. That's how banks make their money. Yeah, and you know, the credit companies, yeah, they charge everybody for using the card, for accessing your own money. Before, you'd go to the bank, you didn't get charged to take your money out, it was your money. No, the banks were supposed to make money on loans. Like when they lend you money and they charge you a big interest rate, that's where they're supposed to make money. But now it's like they make money just charging you for, you know, just for every transaction or whatever. Anyway, so, and it's the same thing like with the online selling, is that because there's a cost and another cost and everybody's taking their cut, and the sellers keep inflating the price. Like when we're selling on Marketplace, it's much lower, but it's because there's no middleman. Well, this is the thing about like renting booths. First of all, it is hard to get booths, but also it's a big pain in the ass. Like I've done it before when I was selling bath products. It was a lot of fun, but you have to bring all your stuff and like bring it there and set it up. And I mean, I don't know. I kind of like, because I need to do something like in my spare time. So this way I can do it in my spare time. So yeah, I was trying to figure out what to do. I didn't like Etsy's policy of charging you for the shipping. And then I've also heard of like, you know, I mean, there's issues like people can, you know, claim that they didn't really get it, they want their money back, and then Etsy will take the side of the customer. But whatever, I mean, I guess those things could happen anywhere. Poshmark, yeah, I guess it could be easy. I certainly have a lot of old clothes that I could list, but I'm terrible with clothes. Like I've discovered this as I go, you know, thrifting and stuff, that I'm not good with clothes. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but like, I'm really not a fashion person, but it turns out I'm really good with like pottery and glassware. Oh my God, you guys, I found the most amazing things. It's crazy. I want to show you this one since it was in the thumbnail. But yeah, like basically there's like this whole selling and reselling ecosystem. And before I forget, I was going to say, the people who are, first of all, really getting screwed is the actual poor people who needed to go to the thrift store to get their clothes and to get their stuff. Because, you know, now the thrift store is caught on like, oh, people will pay more for this junk. And so they mark it up. But lucky for us here in Montreal, it hasn't really happened yet. But I've heard horrible stories from the States that there's towns where like every single thrift store, the stuff is like way marked up. You know, and that's not cool. Because they're like, oh, well, they're willing to pay $20 for this thing on eBay or on Etsy. So why don't we just charge them, you know, 15 instead of 5? Yeah, Sky, I used to have a website, but I never really used it. I hated it. I hated the platform, and I paid for it for a long time, and I just actually canceled it. I'm working on it, though. I'm working on figuring something out. But I made some progress. I discovered Garage Sale, first of all. Yeah, like, you need to have your own website. But the problem is, how do you get the traffic, though? That's why people go on those other ones, because they might get discovered more easily. What would be my portal? Okay, make a suggestion. I mean, in the end, like, the thing is also, like, with those sites where you have your own site, you do have to know a bit about how to make the thing, like, set it up. It's like, I don't have the bandwidth for that. I mean, the mental bandwidth. That's why I was like, I just want to go on Etsy because it's easy, you know? I don't mind if I have to pay more fees, but it bothers me that then you have to like mark everything up so much. I don't want to charge people an arm and a leg. I feel like it's wrong. Well, okay. Oh yeah, Olivia. I don't know if anybody's going to want to know. Okay, let me show you what I found. And you know what, you guys, I'm going to have to go in the other closet because I found some amazing things. They're so gorgeous. Does anybody know what this is? Okay, do you notice it have bubbles in it? Well, it's obviously an ashtray, but do you notice how it has like these controlled bubbles in it? Does anybody know what this is? Or what it looks like? What it's likely to be? I cannot even believe the guy didn't know what this was. Somebody tell me, what is this? I know what it is. Or I know what it looks like. No, it's not a cup. It's an ashtray or like a... What do they call that? Where you throw your stuff in it? They have a name for it in French. It's glass. It's handmade. Yes. Yeah, you started eBay and it was easy. Okay, I just opened an eBay account. I was like, I'm so done. I'm so done with Marketplace. Threatening to send me to the meat grinder. Like, straight to hell, you guys. Not you guys. The Facebook robots. Straight to hell with you. They probably, you know, they say they have a consciousness now and they have a soul. They're probably going to hell for all the nasty things they've done. Serves them right, too. Okay, it's not signed. I can't believe nobody here knows what this is. I thought you guys knew. I thought somebody would be like, oh, I know what it is. You still don't know what it is. A catch-all. Yes, a catch-all or an ashtray. But you know what it is? Like the type of glass? You guys, this looks to me like it is actually a Murano. Murano is a special high-quality glass from Italy, which is highly prized and very hard to find. And I suspect that somebody bought this and then was just ditching their stuff, put it on a lawn sale. A guy on Marketplace bought it from their Murano. Like the holy grail of glass. Yeah. I'm so crazy about glass and ceramics. Shopper channel? What? No. No, it's not Shopper channel. If you look it up, because I've really tried to find, does anyone make this that's not Murano? Now, there are imitations. But the reason I think that it is a Murano, and the reason I have not listed it, is because of the bubbles. Look at the bubbles in there, you guys. This is called controlled bubbles. You see that? Can't see anything up close to my glasses. You see that? There's all these little bubbles in there, and they're all perfect in lines. That's crazy, okay? That's high quality. It's very heavy too. It's hand blown. You can like see a little bit of swirling in there. As far as I know, nobody makes it with the bubbles besides Murano. And they make this color. I mean, I don't know. But it could be that somebody went to Italy, picked up a little Murano back in the 60s when it wasn't such a big deal, brought it back here, sold it at the their yard sale. This poor guy in Ville Saint Laurent picked it up. It's in a marketplace for $5. I was like, listen, man, you want $5? I'm going to give you $5. I drove all the way up to Ville Saint Laurent. That's the neighborhood where they have all the shootings, by the way. I drove up there. I brought Gunner with me. Gonna get that Murano. I got my Murano and I was like, oh my God. You know the joy? Like, when you, what is it? You know, what is it with middle-aged women and the treasure hunting? I'm turning into my mother. It's for real. Yeah, I found this. That's crazy. Okay. Now, I have another one here. I'm so scared that I'm going to hear a crash when I go in that closet because that's where I keep some of my treasures. But the rest are in the living room. And actually, I've got a couple of dynamite ashtrays I want to show you. See how excited I get? You know what that means? It's because I love it. And there's nothing better in life than being excited about what you're doing, right? I'm so excited about it. I love it so much. But I don't want to be like my mother and just hoard a bunch of stuff. I never was a shopper. I never buy anything. I only buy clothes when I need them. Take it to the pawn shop. I thought of that, but there's a very fancy pawn shop in Westmount. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna be like, so I got this ashtray. It's supposed to be a Murano something. I don't know. And they're either gonna be like, oh yeah, it's a Murano, or they're gonna be like, no, you got ripped off. Or maybe they'll be like, nah, it's a piece of junk, but we'll buy it from you for $10. And I'll be like, oh, it's a Murano. Anyway, I think it's a Murano. I will figure it out. Where in Westmount? Westmount Square. There is okay, wait, let me just check the battery. Okay, it's still good. There's it's called Daisy. They buy antiques and jewelry, but only like really the good stuff. They only buy sterling silver. Like it's really got to be like top quality. I do a great job with managing my life without having nervous breakdown. Well, I try. I don't always do such a great job. So here, look, check. This is really cool, okay? This is a super nauseatingly ugly classic 1970, actually 60s ashtray. It's 1960s. Is it this type of glaze? Like the glaze looks like it was ruined by the cigarettes, but actually no, this is how it's made. And you know, I think that this is Beausware. And the weird thing is, the reason I think it's Beausware is because of the exact pattern and the type of clay it's on. I think it's Beausware, but usually Beausware is marked. It's marked with the name and the number, but not 100%, not always. So I'm not sure. Oh, thanks, Mike. Yeah, I love the thrifting. I only indulge in it now because I can resell it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. Oh my God, I have to show you guys my objects. I'm gonna have to get up at some point and go get it. Yeah, the 60s, 70s, 50s too. So yeah, this is 1960s pattern. I know it is, and I really think it's Beausware. It's a Beausware ashtray. I think it's gorgeous, actually. Like it's that 70s ugly gorgeousness. But I mean, it's cool. You know, it's just something about it. I just love it. Don't want to break it. I had to like reorganize all my cupboards to put my things. Hold on a second, I'll show you what else. Oh, and Gunnar came with me too. He went picking with me. And he made me buy something too, which I would have never bought. That was his thing. It's not ugly. It's wonderful. I love it. All right, let's see. What else did I get? Oh, this is crazy. Like this is a tiny little thing. And I got it for like $1.50. Oh, by the way, the ashtray, I got it for $2. It could resell for at least 20 though, so that's like a good profit, you know. I mean, if it was stamped, if it said Bosware, it'd go for more. Like, people buy them for like 35, 40 bucks. But this is really cool. This is crackle glass from the 1960s too. And you know what? It's like it's a little syrup pitcher. You know when you have your maple syrup? Yeah, I know the Murano, eh? I know, it's crazy. I'm not doing anything with it until I know exactly. Murano. So I thought this was really cute, but it is hand blown and it is mid-century, and I think it was just sitting there. It's not, yeah, well, a creamer. It could be a creamer, but I guess it could be, but usually you don't put cream in glass. You put cream in ceramics or in silver. So I thought that this is, look at that, crackle glass. Let me see if you can see it. You see how it has like all these little crackles in it? Like it looks like it's about to fall into a million pieces. And it looks really great in the light. And I think I would call this a little syrup pitcher. It is fascinating, in my opinion. I'm glad you think so too. You know, when you have your maple syrup on the table, and what is it, sitting in the can? That's horrible. So you need one of these. I loved it. I found it and I was like, oh my God, you're so cute. And I keep thinking it's broken because of all the cracks, but it's made that way. Hold on, let me see. I'll have to move Barbie for a second. I so don't want to sell clothes. I hate selling clothes. I don't know anything about clothes. Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, these were so cute. These are vintage shot glasses, and they're from like the 1960s. They're made in France, and they're souvenir glasses from a place called Obertauern, which is in Austria. But look at them, they're hand painted with enamel paint, and I have a set of 3. And what did I pay for it? Like $1.25 or something? So I'm listing it. I consider it like a finder's fee. I mean, you're free to go to the thrift store and poke around in there and try to make sense of it if you want. Or you can buy it from someone like me who knows something about the stuff, you know. Because the thing is, my mother was a big collector, right? So I grew up going to flea markets, and she had lots of stuff around. So I guess I learned something. I didn't learn anything about clothes from her, though. But I guess I learned something about this kind of stuff. It's so pretty, and there's 3 of them. They're so gorgeous. The train, yeah, I heard about it. I know. There's so many awful things going on. I know. But I don't want to make this stream about the train, but rest in peace. That's awful. Yeah. Okay, hold on a second, you guys. Oh, well, that one's really small. You know, I don't even know how I ended up with this. Oh, this was one of my mom's. I didn't buy this. This is like a very old, like, it's for perfume, you know. I didn't buy it. I just inherited it. That's one of my mother's treasures. Okay, Gunnar made me buy this. We paid $5.75. So this is Hofbauer. I think her name's Anna Hofbauer, and it's 24% lead crystal. So it's basically like a little candy dish type thing. It has a stamp on it that says, yeah. And you know, to me, this is like really old fashioned, but not in a good way. Like, I like the mid-century stuff because I just like the funky stuff. But I don't know when this kind of stuff was popular. I think it was popular like around the 60s as well. To me, whatever. You like the candy dish? Gunnar loved this thing because you know what? Look what it has on top. And this is really the cool part. And I do like this part. Can you see that? There's a little bird on it. So it's like a limited edition with a bird. And it's totally perfect. So this bird's here. I mean, we did look it up, and it does sell for 10 times as much. GTO? Mama, what did she say? Oh, I missed it. Sorry. Yeah, I remember back in the 70s, people would have these little dishes. Oh, okay, yeah, about Biden and the train. Oh, okay. Yeah, Gunnar has the eye. Let me show you what else he found. Cotton balls. I mean, it is really cute, and I love the fact that it still has the old sticker on it. That's kind of rare for something sold, and it says made in Germany, and has a little German thing, echt Bleikristall. So yeah, Gunnar bought this. But you know what? I was happy that Gunnar came with me, because I'm telling him, listen, kiddo, you don't want to go work stacking boxes. You better get off your ass and open yourself an eBay. Like, do it now. You have the time. You know, he's always got these little jobs that he does. Like, he wants to wash dishes this summer, which is fine. And he wants to go busking with his dad. But, you know, those are like the kind of jobs you do when you're a teenager. But then you either get educated and you become a professional, or you start a business. And I think it's never too early to start. My parents, it was the opposite. It was like, don't even go. You don't want a job. You don't want to. Every time I tried to do something, it was discouraging me. And I think it's the other way around. You should start early so you learn, you know, and you have the time, and there's no pressure. You have all the time to do that now. Let me go get a couple other things, okay? So you speak amongst yourselves for a minute. Oh yes, Anita can use that, of course. Yeah, I think it's important. And you know, if you're not a good employee, like you don't like working for someone else, the only option you have is to go into business or be like a really skilled professional. You can be a lawyer, good, be a lawyer. You know, if you don't want to be an employee and go in the daily grind and you're not going to be a lawyer, you better start a business. You better do something. Or you can hustle multiple small things. You can do that too. Anyway, oh my God, you guys, whoa, it's sitting right next to me. Yeah, you see, I am passionate about it because I really, oh man, like, and that's the thing. That's why I haven't been doing like news videos, because like, you know, it was fun in the beginning. I was really interested. Oh, Merry Christmas. Frohe Weihnachten. Yeah, like in the beginning when I made videos, I was passionate about it. But it just turned into like a bad boyfriend scenario where I got gaslit and I felt like I was being psychologically abused, and I got sick of it. And I was like, listen, I'm the OG. I paid my dues. Everybody knows what's going on. I told you, you want updates? I told you, go watch Dr. Campbell, you know, go watch this or go watch that. I am not going to sit here and drive myself crazy and ruin my health, because one of the worst things you can do is sit on your butt. And guess what I'm doing when I'm trying to like research these things? I'm sitting here on my ass, reading a ton of stuff, taking notes, saving pictures, fixing it all up. It takes hours and hours and hours. I don't get out of the house. And listen, I'm almost 52. I am not going to live the rest of my life like that, because pretty soon I'm going to be old. So I'm doing something that makes me really excited for a change. Let me show you what I found, you guys. Mind-blowing. Oh my God! And let's not forget this. I gotta show you what's in here. You don't even know. Hold on. Hold on, you guys. Oops. You guys. This is sick. It's absolutely sick. I swear, I feel like, you know, God wants me to do this, because if God didn't want me to do this, I wouldn't get so lucky all the time. I'm going to hold one of these up. Anybody out there know what this is? Let me find you a nice picture. This is crazy. Anybody know what this is? I feel like I should give you a prize if you know what it is. If you get this right, I will give a shout out to your channel. So I'll tell everybody what your name is. Who knows what this is? It's not macaroni. It's not candy. Looks like candy though. Firecracker. Just don't put it in your ass. Oh, don't send me to the meat grinder. Yeah. It's Murano beads. Murano again. Yeah, they're Murano Italian glass. Okay, wait. Debbie Klinglesmith. Ding, ding, ding. She got it right. It's Murano beads. Java Lily says Italian glass beads. No, Kentucky Girl is not a Chinese finger holder. You can get mine unless your finger is very, very skinny. It's not clay and it's not Fimo. It's actually glass. The Murano. Does anybody know what kind of Murano it is? What do they call this? Let's see if you guys know. I mean, I have like a ton. Okay, anybody know what do they call this type of Murano bead? It has a special name. They're so pretty. While I'm holding it up, I'll show you another one. Can you see it? Okay. Yeah, hit the like. Thank you. You guys know what this is? Yes, they're from Venice. Anybody know how old they are? It's Murano from Venice. Anybody know about how old they are? I'll give you a chance to guess. No? Somebody knows. I have to wait a second because there's like a delay before you guys hear me. 150? 150 years old? They could be. These go back to the 1500s. Well, not exactly these. There's these similar. These are called chevron that have layers. And these go back really far. These go way back. On average, these ones that you find floating around, they're called trade beads. They were brought from Italy to Africa. The Africans use them, they call them good beads or trade beads, and they use them as currency in the late 1800s. Millefiori, yeah, 1,000 flowers. So what they did was they would make, see all those little colored things? Those are the flowers, and they'd make that, they'd cut it up. So it's like the way you do Fimo, you know, so it's like layers, it's rolled, it's cut, and then it's all that glass is attached around the glass stem. This is extremely old. And it has so much history. And I mean, you can use anything as currency, you know. It doesn't have to be gold. If the beads are valuable and you trade them. Yeah, and then there's other ones. There's these. These are glass and they have a spiral on them. But you know what? There's people that will sell, okay, these are all not in super great shape. Like this has a chip, this has a chip. Because the woman who had these, she's from the Middle East and her husband got them in Africa and Nigeria. No, they're not from India, they're from Nigeria. He bought them in Nigeria. And she was trying to make jewelry and she would take like other things and she used crazy glue and glued them together, which is insane because these are like antique treasures. So unfortunately, because of all this crazy damage, so like a lot of them are really chipped. I know it's really sad. It feels like a desecration to me that she would do that. But I mean, even a chipped Murano bead is still worth a lot because it is very, very old. Yeah, like this one has a bit of glue on it. But this is why, like I got them for a really good price. I got a ton of them. And you know, like this one is perfect. I mean, you know, she was telling me she was making these necklaces. She showed me one of her necklaces. Oh, they're not jagged. That's the crazy thing. Like even when it chips, it's not jagged. But I think people do understand like a bead that is over 100 years old. Oh, this is 150 years old, maybe. It might have some chips, you know, it happens. And she showed me the necklaces and I was just like, she said she's very crafty. She's very good with her hands. But you know what? The one thing she was missing, I'm sorry to say, she was a lovely lady, but she did not have taste. Like my mother had taste. You know, some people just have it and some people don't. I'm not as good as my mother, that's for sure. But she just like took all these beads and she just put them together in the worst way and put crazy glue. And I was just like, oh my God. And she said she opened an Etsy shop and like nothing sold. And I was like, oh God, what can you say, eh? I mean, some of the necklaces were okay, but it's just because you know what the problem is? Like what she didn't realize, okay? So she has these fantastic 100-and-something-year-old Murano beads. And then she was combining them with like dollar store quality plastic stuff, you know, and that doesn't work. If you're going to have something that valuable, you need to put it with silver or other glass. You don't mix like high end with low end. Like you don't drink Veuve Clicquot with your McDonald's meal, you know, it doesn't make sense. So that I think that was the problem. It didn't work. And then there's this. There was a bunch of this in there too. She wasn't strange. She was a little bit lonely. I think her husband had divorced her sometime before, and she had 3 kids, and she was living alone. She was really nice. We had a lot in common, actually. Oh, Jenna Morano necklace. I'm going to spoil her. This is Yoruba mock coral from Nigeria. Interesting. I don't know how they make it. I put everything in my mouth. Everything she brought out, the first thing I did, I went like this. I put everything in my mouth to see what it was. And I was like, that's wood, that's plastic, that's glass, that's clay. She was laughing. She said, like a baby, you put everything in your mouth. But it's the best way to find out what it is. Anyway, I was very excited about this. Glass. Oh, and then there's this. I think it's called carnelian. Yeah, but you can tell right away what it is. So, like, there's a whole bunch of carnelian in here. But if you guys saw, like, how much of it I got, like, this is crazy. Oh, yeah. Did I tell you that, like, one piece like this will sell for $20 on eBay? One. Look, I have a whole tray of them. I was like, oh my God. That's crazy. That whole tray. And then, plus I bought this from her. It's like a whole, see, I got the little coral chips and the turquoise and like a whole bunch of these little chevron beads here, which are also like from the 1800s. Well, yeah, like Susie, yeah, I could sell one piece at a time. I mean, I could do that. Yeah. I could either, I could make it, try to make jewelry out of it, or I could literally just sell it for parts, which I might do. She couldn't deal with all that online stuff. She tried Etsy and it just didn't work for her. So she sold to me, and then these are from Thailand. They're brass with inlaid stones. I bought everything. Tiger eye. But I got it for a really good price. I just used the profits that I made and like reinvested it. Basically, that's it, you know. Turquoise? Yeah, the beads. Here's the thing. Like, I answered her ad and I was like, oh, I'm interested in the beads. She's like, oh, okay, I saw it the first day and I didn't respond. And then the next day I was like, I sent her a message and she's like, oh, somebody else says he wants to come by and get them. Because I had to think about it. I was like, am I being crazy? I want to buy all those beads. Because she wanted $75 for like a tray like this. And when I went up there, she told me, I can't give them to you. I'm saving them for this other person. And they were really nice. They were like all red and green. So I got all the like orange and blue ones. Here's one of her necklaces. But I mean, that's I bought it because, yeah, it's an investment because I can actually sell them piece by piece. And also I don't want to have to be like packaging big fragile items. I mean, how easy would it be to sell a Murano bead for like 15 or 20 bucks? So this is a necklace that she made. Can I put it over my head? No, I have to open it. I'll show you. It's not bad. This one's probably one of the nicer ones, but there's just, she says like she tried some, yeah, see, she glued the beads together. Yeah, this is crazy. See, there's a Millefiori bead and she glued it to these other like antique glass. But yeah, there was just something wasn't right. And yeah, see, she combined it with like seed beads and she put crazy glue everywhere. Nobody buys that. And then see, here's a plastic dollar store bead. Plastic dollar store bead, coral with crazy glue. And then, what did you do to it? Chevron with stuff glued to it. Huh. And the Thai beads mixed in with the African beads. Anyway, that was very exciting. And then also, yeah, I know, like she couldn't sell them. Yeah, she like basically just did like, I can't even believe she did that. Okay, let me show you what else I found. This was a total score. Well, here's one. You know these like old patterns from like the 50s, 60s, 70s? Like I have a whole bag of them. It's crazy. I must have come in at the right time because you know, like when you go to the thrift stores, there's other people that are looking for stuff, but they bring these little boxes in, and it's all the new stuff. It's like the new, you know, arrivals, and people will just right away as soon as it's on the shelf. And I just happened to be there when they brought this box in. The box was just sitting there. Wait, I want to show you one of them that was so good. Well, where is it? I don't know. I must turn it the wrong way. Yeah, they're like 1970s. And I saw them and I was like, oh my God, there's so many of them. And I just took them because they were like $1.75 each. No, these, you can sell these. People buy this stuff. They buy them for like 10 bucks. People buy them. They're in demand, you know, not all of them, but yeah, the old ones. So that was like a total score because they're so cheap. Bought them to wallpaper her room? Really? That's funny. That's a cool idea. But people buy them because I guess they like to make vintage clothes. A vintage style. So I bought them because if I want to sell them, if I want to mail things, like this is a really good thing that you can mail, that it doesn't get damaged, you know, and whatever. I mean, I'll just put it up. And I wanted to just show you a couple other little things. You think it's cool? I thought it was cool. What do you think? Vintage patterns? I thought it was a score because, oh crap, it's gone. Oh my God, my son just called me. And I meant to like not answer it because he's at his friend's place, and I answered it. And remember what happened the last time where like the whole thing shut down and I couldn't get back in? So now I didn't want that to happen because then I have to delete it. Hold on a second. What happened was I answered the phone by accident. But I do want to show you my other thing before I go. So like you guys, I am going to find a way to make this work in spite of all this crap with Marketplace. I'm not giving up because you can see how much I love doing it. And whatever, I'm just going to keep trying. And I feel like God is with me on it because I keep going into places and finding like the most unbelievable stuff. Like super easily. I found this from Shoemaker, and it's like, you know, from the 1940s. This gunner's calling me again. I'm gonna go really soon. I just wanted to show you a couple of things. Okay, no. Sorry. All right. Because he's gonna just keep doing that. Oh, you know what, you guys? I better go deal with him because yeah, he just wants me to pick him up, but I'm gonna come pick him up. But I have found a couple other really cool things. But anyway, that was the main thing. I found all these super cool vintage ashtrays. Sorry about the ringing. And I found like these amazing vintage patterns, like tons of them, super cheap. And I got all those Murano beads. And that's what I'm trying to like move off of Facebook Marketplace and go somewhere else. And so I need like little things that I can mail easily, that it's not going to be a big deal. And yeah, I wanted to talk to you a bit more about it, but I guess it's been, you know, no, I'm not going to do art. I don't want to do any more stuff where I have to make stuff. I mean, I have my earrings and jewelry that I made, but whatever. I don't want to focus on that because it just takes more time. So okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take care of Gunner, but thanks for joining me, and maybe I'll give you more update on it in the take you thrifting with me. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Just do what you love. You got to do what makes you feel alive. If what you're doing isn't making you feel good and you're sitting on your butt all the time and feeling miserable, then don't do it. Because I'm pretty sure down the road, when you know it's at the end, you're not going to be like, oh, I wish I'd spent more time doing stuff that sucked, that I didn't enjoy. You know, thanks for the tip, Java Lily. I'm going to check out Poshmark. Okay, my kid is like bugging me, so I just want to say thanks for joining me Always good to see you, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night, you guys. Bye.